Well, I totally forgot we were having a meeting tonight. I had made other plans, and my brother sent me a message about being here, and I'm like, is that tonight? I thought it was next week for some reason.
What's going on, George?
Ah, nothing.
Yeah, it's just, they just need to
Jim's here. I've seen Jim in a while.
do it without them saying,
Where the parking is this, huh?
Jimbo.
All right.
The ramp on this one goes across. So, you know, it's like you have that like the 12 inches.
You're looking into this.
So already hit the button across.
I haven't done anything with it, but yes.
we were actually going to go both directions. We were going to go in front of both
Figured out what it's going to cost.
ramps, so then they wouldn't have to extend. They wouldn't have to do
Giving me a
anything.
breakdown of what they spend on stuff.
Yeah, that's what I needed.
Oh, okay.
No, really, this is weird.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Normally there's somebody scrambling to get up here the last night.
I don't either. I mean,
That's what I'm asking.
14 people. I usually do a quick count.
But I don't know whether we'll see with it. No, that's fine. Do you want me to take it? I'm happy to take it.
I remember my first meeting.
just from the borough's take.
We had standing room. This place was packed.
Oh, for this, like this term?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. I was in the back row. Yeah.
The clapping alone. No, you had to be sitting here. It had to be.
Yeah, I sent her one.
Remember when the county council was here?
Yeah, that's right.
And, you
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
And when they were giving out all the awards, I think every seat was filled and there were people packed in the back. It had to be over 100 people easy.
Yeah, same with me. Same thing.
The scary part is it's really good news.
Yeah.
Like normally if there's that.
Yeah.
It's bad
I
thing.
might have caught myself saying a few.
But I remember that night the clapping was actually hurting my ears. I guess the microphones were picking it up. Or
You going to the banquet Saturday night?
Yes, ma'am.
Where'd you go on the banquet Saturday night?
I have my mother this weekend, but I'm trying to make arrangements for somebody to cover me. What was it, usually like
Like
6 to 10?
Six to
Even cut out before that.
6 to 11.
Yeah, I mean, I have all intentions, but last year the same thing. Last year I had my mother for the, I do caregiver duty on the weekends. And last year did the exact same thing, on the exact same weekend too. I couldn't do last year.
I think it's been the same weekend for 20 years.
Well, it's either the same weekend or it's the same rotation.
Same rotation.
Second
Yeah.
weekend of March.
Is that what it is? I'm trying to work arrangement with my sisters. I got 3 sisters, so chances are I can have somebody come in for like 4 or 5 hours to cover my shift, and I'll just be back because we spend overnight with her.
Still on the
whole
way.
weekend.
But they, the
I
time.
know my wife.
Well, first of all, the
We
permit
had some cocktails, we had
they were
dinner.
given.
Once the part of the dance and starts, we're out of
Speed
there.
up. So I.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully I'm going to be there.
Well, they located.
I gotta write him a check. That's right. I think I'll give him
I was thinking the exact same thing as soon as you said that.
I think last time I gave it to him.
About a $4,000.
Yeah, you can give it to him.
So I think,
I think that's what I did last year.
I'll ask Robbie before the end of the night.
it's 25,000 actually to put a new mast on. Stand up, be in the ready position. This is what we pay here to work for.
They know where to find me.
And that's the cheapest solution.
Zoom in on you. Should have brought her over tonight.
Now, you would have to extend the sidewalk, and they really should have done that. But,
Done.
okay.
It does
Big
happen.
month for people passing away, man. Yeah, a lot of people.
1, 2, 3. Only 3 on there. I'm like, oh my God, where were you?
You were there. I think I saw you leaving when I was.
Yeah.
going.
I was at what? I know him. I know her. I know her from way back. He just has to walk in the street.
I was outside for an hour and 10 minutes.
Joe Platt. I didn't know who Joe Platt was. I just remembered her. And Mike McGeary had said something to me. I said, I remember him now. He was with the fire company. He also was
For a
with
number of
Widener.
years.
He's with Widener. Who it was.
the Brookhaven Borough Council meeting will now come to order. Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody could please remain standing for just a moment as we offer a moment of silence to our recently deceased residents. Gary Mulligan, Dolores Ardes, Gloria Cole, Teresa Carlin, Joseph Platt, Robert McKendry, Christina Couch, Dina Ekman, Wayne Egbert, Lee Evans, Conrad Olenek, Judith Bixler. It's way too many. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to welcome everybody to the Brookhaven Borough Council meeting this evening. Just a reminder that the meeting is being videotaped and it could be uploaded to the internet. With that, I'll open up to public discussion. You have 5 minutes. Please come to the podium, state your name, and then your business. Any public discussion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. Mr. Sherdatek. Sir?
Just an update from the Business Association. We met 2 weeks ago, and the focus of our meeting really was discussing scholarships that we want to give to the Spring to Pendelco graduates. We're awarding 3 $200 scholarships. These are as a result of proceeds we earned from our 5K last fall. And we're putting the criteria together now for those to be awarded at graduation.
Good.
We did discuss the basketball tournament, and we are thinking about it for next year.
That'd be nice.
Just because of the manpower situation, volunteers to do it.
I appreciate that. I think it would be a good idea.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
They were looking for some kind of an idea, and I just suggested since basketball is so good in this town, maybe they could do something with the schools and basketball. And he's going to look into it, which I think would be helpful.
Okay.
To have the kids competing against each other in the same school.
School board report, Mr. Ford. Mrs. Ford, I'm sorry.
We'll go back for that.
I apologize. Been a long day.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's great to be back. So it's been another busy month at Coburn Elementary School. This month we had the Kids Heart Challenge. Coburn Elementary students and staff participated in the Heart Challenge. And this time around, we raised over $10,000 for the American Heart Association, which is really an incredible amount of money that went directly to the American Heart Association. All the students participated throughout the day. The gymnasium was set up with stations, jump rope, dancing, hula hoops, scootering, tunnels, and tons of heart-healthy activities. So thank you to everyone who participated. We also had a great day on Friday, even though we had a little snow. It was a pretty jam-packed day for Dr. Seuss Day. Students and staff celebrated Read Across America Day on Friday, March 1st. Lounging with Literacy was the theme, and students were able to wear pajamas to school and throughout the day read their favorite Dr. Seuss books with grade partners. The highlight of the day was a special event in the Coburn Library where guest readers were invited to read to each grade level. Thank you to the Brookhaven Police Department and our superintendent, Dr. Steinhoff, who were able to participate that day in our guest reader program. The students loved having guest readers, and that day marks the importance of literacy. We also have a STEM grant that was awarded to one of our 4th grade teachers. She received a STEM grant. She wrote it and received it, and will be receiving 12 STEM kits from Hess Trucks. So the students are very excited and can't wait to get their hands and minds on the STEM kits. Fiddler on the Roof was also a fantastic play, if you happen to see it, at Northley Middle School. Each year, the Coburn Elementary 5th grade is invited to attend that play so that they can really visit the school and just see. It's an excellent opportunity for them to experience the Northley Drama Club. They're heading over there in just a few short months, and it was an outstanding performance, and everyone had a great time. Our Girls on the Run program is off to a big start again this year. It's a volunteer program with teachers. Girls are invited to the program, and over the next several several months, the teachers, the coaches, who are the teachers, will meet 2 times a week after school. They prepare for a 5K run. In May, the GOATR, or the Girls on the Run program, inspires girls to be joyful, healthy, and confident using a fun, experience-based curriculum with creativity, and it integrates running. We also celebrated the 100th day of school. It's hard to believe we're at 100 days already on February 6th. That was a lot of fun. Again, there's so many fun and exciting activities that are happening every single day at Coburn. Tonight we're having the Family Night Book Fair over there. The library's open and filled with parents and kids selecting books. So if you want to know what's happening, follow us on Twitter at Coburn ES, and you can see all the events that are happening each day. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. You guys actually celebrate 100 days in class?
Kids do. They
get wow.
dressed up. They think they're 100 years old.
Oh, is that right?
So they get dressed up, or they do projects that have.
Gotta have them take a picture. Gotta have them take a picture of us to get an idea.
Excuse me.
You ought to have them take a picture of us to get an idea.
Oh.
Like to be 100.
No, look, a day over 29, right?
All right.
Thank you so much. Fire Chief's report, Chief Montella.
Good evening, Brookhaven Fire Company's February 2019 fire report. We had 4 fire incidents, 14 non-fire, 20 mutual aid, 4 drills, for a total of 42 for the month. We had $240,000 of property endangered for the month. No firefighter injuries, no civilian injuries. Our manpower was, sorry about that, 42 calls, average 16 firefighters. We were in service for 446 hours. And at 1,001 hours for the year. Our training, we have 4 training sessions, average 28 firefighters for 185 hours of training for the month, 400 hours of training for the year. Brookhaven Fire Company responded to the following incidents in Brookhaven Borough. 2 gas leaks at Morris Avenue and Washington Avenue, a gas leak on Mary Ann Drive at the meter. We had a gas leak inside at 7016 Hilltop Drive. We had 4 automobile accidents, 2 at 352 on Brookhaven Road, 1 at 3919 Edgemont Avenue, and 1 at West Brookhaven Road in Mount Vernon. Brookhaven Fire Company assisted Rocky Run Fire with covering up for them where they operated at a hazmat incident. Assisted Chester Township Fire Company on a building fire in the 1600 block of Powell Road. Brookhaven Fire Company assisted Aston Township on a building fire on High Grove Road, and also a building fire at Sun Valley High School. We assisted Chester Fire Department on a second alarm building fire at East 24th Street, and assisted the Garden City Fire Company on a building fire on Christian Lane, and also they had a building fire at the SEPTA train station on Possum Hollow Road. Our monthly training involved SCBA search and rescue, victim removal and drag techniques, CPR and AED recertification, and we had a class on CO, electric, and gas emergencies. Our February 2019 ambulance report, we had 110 calls for the month of February. We had 80 transports, 232 calls for the year already, 64 calls in Brookhaven for the month, 10 in Media Borough, 2 in Parkside, 6 in Middletown Township, 6 in Chester Township, 3 in Nether Providence, 2 in Aston Township, 3 in Upland Borough, and 14 in Chester City. And that's it for our reports.
Thanks. Busiest fire company in the country, I think. Good job. Thank you, Chief. Solicitor's report, Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items for council tonight. The first is the draft ordinance adopting the 2015 edition of the International Residential Code. This has been properly circulated to council. It's been available for inspection in the office, and it's been properly advertised for consideration tonight. This one's taken a while, so I think everybody's seen it several times. If anyone has any questions, that's fine, but otherwise I would ask for a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you. And the second item I have is the amendment to the existing development agreement for the shops at Brookhaven. Just by way of background, I think you all recall, this is a situation where the developer had a amendment to the land development plan approved by council. As part of that approval, he's required to remove the rain garden and install an underground seepage bed. The borough then asked him to post financial security for those site improvements. There was a little back and forth, but he's now agreed to do that. So this amendment just indicates that he's going to provide the financial security for those site improvements. So I'd ask at this point for a motion to approve that amendment.
I'll take it. Second.
Motion and a second. Eileen, everything's good from where you sit? Yeah, good, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
All right, that's all I had tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, minute approval. I need a minute approval for the December 18th special meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion for the January 7th, 2019 council meeting.
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? January 28th, 2019 council workshop.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, and the February 4th, 2019 council meeting.
I'll take it.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, thank you. Mayor's report, Mayor Hess.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple little items this evening. First of all, I want to read to folks out there in the audience and everybody at home a call that we received this morning, which I think is very good for the borough itself and very good for these particular fellows. It's from a young lady. She called this morning to compliment our fire safety guys who were just put out to her home in Hilltop. She wanted all to know how safe she feels now that her smoke alarms were checked and changed, as she says she cannot do much more to feel safe beyond words. She also stated professionally, they are so nice. Well, I'm not so sure they're so nice, but she asked me to make sure that everybody knows that they do a wonderful job. So, but Joe and Chief, you did a great job, and I'm sure that this is only one of many, many residents that appreciate what you do. So with that being said, I'm going to segue right into something else that they do for public fire safety officers with fire lane enforcement. And we all know about the fire lanes, right? We all want to see everybody stay out of those fire lanes. So in the month of February, they issued 14 citations at $50 apiece, and they gave out 58 warnings. So we'll move on to citations. The police department issued a total of 35 citations, 35 parking tickets, and 17 warnings. Police responded to 19 car crashes, 2 reportable and 17 non-reportable. There were 18 hazard complaints, 14 assists rendered to motorists, and 10 vehicles impounded. For the months of January and February combined, was 80 citations issued, 26 warnings, 59 parking tickets, 39 crashes, 38 hazard complaints, 35 assists to motorists, and 21 vehicles impounded. So that's that part also. The council knows what I'm about to say about our search for a police chief. I want to let the folks out in the audience know, and the folks at home also, let us know what's going on, that we've received 99 applications for the position of Chief of Police of Brookhaven. Out of those 99 applications, the borough and myself went through them very diligently, and we feel that there's probably 20 possible applicants out of those 99. Our search is going to continue to find the best possible candidate that we can have as the Chief of Police for Brookhaven. We start our interviews this Saturday. We're interviewing 4 possible candidates. We'll continue through the week and through the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we may, and I'm not guaranteeing, but hopefully have somebody in place by May 1st or May 15th. Other than that, that's all I have on my report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We'll go into council reports, and we'll start with Ms. Sawicki.
Yes, thank you. We do have the bill list that's on your desks in front of you, and I'm going to make a motion so we can pay the bills for March.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
That's all I have right now.
That's all, yeah. Thank you, Dennis. Mr. Heller.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need 2 motions. One motion to add John Wilwert to the Historical Committee. I'll make it.
Second it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I need a motion to add Harry Seth to the Historical Committee also.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the Historical Committee will next meet March 20th. Main agenda is the Hometown Hero banners. We are setting up a GoFundMe this week to try and self-fund that as much as we can. That's all I have for Historical Committee. Technology Committee, our next meeting is March 14th, with the main agenda item being the emergency notification system. We'll have Chief Montel, Acting Chief Martin, Denise Leslie, Steve Schultz, and Charles Leslie in attendance as guests to help us at least launch that project. I have nothing on civil service, nothing on Board of Health. I do have one item regarding the electric vehicle charging station that was brought up, I believe, February's council meeting. I have a call scheduled with Mr. Hill, Robert Hill, for Wednesday. He's very warm to the idea of installing that in the shops at Brookhaven. So I'll see how that goes. I'll have an update on that by the workshop, hopefully. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Did you reach out to Wawa possibly too?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Now, all these next, Wawa was on the list, but
Gotcha.
I don't know if our Wawa has the space that some of these other
Yeah.
newer super Wawas have.
Yeah.
But they're on the list.
Okay. 'Cause I've
But,
seen.
I didn't expect to get such interest right away and so quickly, but Mr. Hill seems interested, so that's a good thing.
Let's go.
I mean, in time they're going to be popping up all over the place. Got to start somewhere. So see how the one center goes, and we'll move on if it doesn't work out.
Could you pass that down,
Sure.
please?
Thanks. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pappas?
Thank you, Mr. President. Neither one of my committees met, so I will have no report.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Fuchs?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Ordinance Committee did not meet last month. Our next scheduled meeting is March 21st. No new business revitalization news. Tech Committee website news. The general code link is updated on our website. It's under documents and then ordinances. Community news. The next CHIP vaccination clinic will be held on April 2nd in our gym. Flyers are in the back of the council room. The Brookhaven Fun Run will be held on April 7th and is sponsored by Faith Community Church. The run will benefit our fire department. And lastly, I just want to say the Sun Valley Post Prom had their bingo this past Saturday night, and it was an extremely successful event. I wanted to, on behalf of the senior parents and students, I'd like to thank the borough, Harry, and Dawn for allowing us to have it here and for all of their help that we received. So thank you all. That's all my report.
I was surprised when you told me what it cost to put one of those events on. My goodness.
Yeah, this prom's very expensive.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. LaPere?
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's see, I'll say this and then I'll look at Harold real quick. There is no meeting of the zoning hearing board this month, correct, Harold? None. Good. I didn't see anything, so I didn't think so. All right, Rec Board met last Thursday, February 28th. Biggest things coming up right now, first event we will have will be the Easter egg hunt, which is on Saturday, April 20th. As we get closer, we will have sign-ups for the egg hunt and the pictures with the Easter Bunny. I believe everything goes on somewhere between, I think the Easter egg hunt starts at 11 and we have pictures before at 10. And then sometimes that carries over because we do seem to get a lot of people for pictures. So as we get closer, we'll have all the information up on the website on the, never mind, it's already on. I should have looked. Very good. But yeah, check the website, check the clock. We'll have all that information up there. A couple things with recreation. Talking to John from Brookhaven Babe Ruth. We are going to have in probably the middle of April or whenever the teeners start near the middle or end of April, we're going to have a dedication of the new Durkin Field over on Coburn Boulevard. I will be getting a sign for that, and we'll let everybody know what date we pick. We didn't pick anything yet. We're going to talk to just get a better idea and hopefully have nice weather. So we'll work on that. A little bit of work to do with that field, minor stuff, but everything looks good over there. One other thing coming up in the late summer, fall would be Memorial Park. We had put money in the budget to redo the major field backstop. That's a bit of a mess. That should have probably been replaced a couple years ago. We do have money in the budget. I got some pricing, and we will try to meet out there again once the weather gets nicer in the spring. When we will meet out there and get a game plan to see what if everything's still in line, and meet with baseball, and we'll come up with a nice design and make sure the field works and transitions properly, so it'll be ready to go for the next summer, for the next season. At Sampson Park, I think everything's good over there. Nothing really going on. Eaton Park is good. Somerville's good. I didn't hear anything I haven't seen anything there. Now that the spring's getting, hopefully the spring is coming, we'll get more people in the parks. So that is it, I guess, except we do have an inspectors meeting that we will have it this Thursday afternoon. So that's just for the inspectors, the solicitor. Other than that, I think that's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Ms. Leslie.
Thank you, Mr. President. First on my agenda is to make a motion to waive the $300 permit fee for Faith Community Church for the 5K race to benefit the Brookhaven Fire Company.
I'll take it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Got it.
Okay, next on my list, I have, we have new recycling stickers to be given out. They say no plastic bags or pizza boxes, and all lids from caps from plastic bottles must be removed and be put in the regular trash. So this is what they look like. They should be in the office, available, to pick up.
I was talking to a couple people that are from other towns, and they don't have to do that. Why do we have to do that? You know?
That,
The lids, the new
taking
lid
the-
law,
the-
whatever you want to call it.
Bottle caps off.
Yeah, the
That they're not
caps.
recyclable anymore.
They're beyond number 6.
Everything's
So
changing
so
for
the bottle is
recycling.
recyclable, but the
But
cap's
the
not?
cap's not, correct.
Just makes it harder and harder to do
I know.
recycling. It's ridiculous.
Next, we have our next recycling event for both shredding and electronics is Saturday, April 6th, from 9 a.m. till noon, here in the parking lot at the Borough Hall. We also have our Memorial Day service, Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. And that's it on my report, because I was going to read about the fire safety officers, but the mayor already did, so.
Great.
End of my report.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll go on to the engineer's report. Mrs. Mulvaney.
Okay, we talked about this last week. I'm asking for a motion to accept Keystone Engineering's proposal of $3,800 to prepare the NPDES Part 2 permit for the mechanical screen down at the plant.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you know how long it takes for them to prepare that? Is it a couple weeks or a month to prepare that?
I would think at least a month.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, next is the traffic control. So we talked last week about the issue with the mast arm being in the center of the sidewalk and then the controller being placed next to that. The permit plan does show the controller being further north, but I don't know why it got installed where it got installed. So it is possible to reroute the sidewalk if we get an easement from Burger King, and that's the cheapest approach. We're estimating that would be about $5,000. To buy a longer mast arm so that we can move that mast arm over to the grass is probably about a $25,000 job. And to relocate the controller would also require rewiring because you're not allowed to use splicing. And that's also about $25,000. So the cheapest route to make this ADA compliant is to just change the route of the sidewalk, but it will require an easement. So it's up to council whether or not you want to take care of this now. I think it makes sense to take care of it now because we're already working there. So if you are interested, the motion would be to add the relocation of the sidewalk outside of the right-of-way, conditioned upon the Burger King giving us an easement.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll make the motion, if that's what you want.
Matt, you'll,
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
okay, good.
You think you'll be able to get the easement?
Well,
I mean, there's enough space there that I think geographically it's possible. We'll have to talk to Burger King and see what they want to do.
sounds like a plan. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I did get notice that the sewer module was approved for 315 West Brookhaven Road development. We still don't have anything from them on the developer's agreement though, right? A revision.
We don't have anything for the cost estimate. I mean,
That's
I
what
have
I
the
mean,
framework.
cost
for the-
estimate, yeah, okay. I didn't get anything, so, but they did get their sewer module approval. Stormwater tip, there are still a few weeks left of winter season. While we would hope that there will be no snow, this was written before the other day, historically, March can be a very snowy season. For those of borough residents with pets, here's a safe way to melt ice that is safe for pets, children, and the environment. A product called Safe Paw works to quickly melt the ice, and that also contains a traction agent to help prevent slips and falls. Because it does not contain salt, the product also is guaranteed, we just read that. So anyway, Safe Paw claims to have another advantage. It attracts solar heat to provide extra melting power during daylight hours. Safe Paw can be purchased at ShopRite, Sam's Club, Costco, and some pet stores. For more information on this product, go to www.safepaw.com. Other internet searches can be done to find similar products. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the Public Works report for February, there was one sewer call on Patton Avenue. They couldn't clear it with a plunger, and the homeowner was told to call a plumber. The plumber advised the homeowner that the line would have to be replaced because it was pitched the wrong way. And Gary said that doesn't seem possible to him because it's been working there for years, and it may have to be televised at some later date. It's open now, and when the last time they were out, everything was working okay. They surfaced the chipper for the upcoming residential chipping program, ordered a larger left turn sign for the Coburn Boulevard at the school so it would be more visible, replaced 10 street name signs, 13 stop signs in some of the poles. 12 of the stop signs were able to be resurfaced. And I think I told you this last week, but to cut costs, what they were going to do was they were mounting the street name signs above the stop signs where it was possible to eliminate the use of the second post. And the cost of the post and the breakaway is $52.56 each. They plowed a couple of the minor snow events. The insurance company has declared the lawn trailer total loss. It was struck in the rear, if you remember, and we talked about that as they were turning onto Shepherd Street, and the borough has now received the check. The insurance company will be taking the trailer off our hands in the near future, and we're going to start looking for a replacement before it gets too late, because we're going to need it for transporting the lawnmowers and stuff like that when it gets down to grass cutting season. And we've been down 2 men for the last couple. We're going to be down 2 men for another week, and I'm hoping we don't get a big snowstorm in that time period. We had one guy break a foot and somebody out on vacation. So, but we're hanging in there. For now, we're doing good. We have a tentative agreement, as I announced at the workshop, with the Teamsters. Probably this week, what'll happen is the Teamsters will go back to their hierarchy, and they need to get it approved, and then they'll go to their 4 employees, and then at that time, we'll be able to bring the information back to the council, and we'll lay it all out for you, and if we have to bring Dave Hackett in to answer any questions, he was the solicitor who, the labor lawyer that we worked with, that worked us through that agreement. So we're getting closer, and I would say probably in the next few weeks, we'll wrap it up. Just a reminder that March 15th is the deadline for the newsletter, so you want to get them into Janice.
Send them into Pat.
Into Pat.
That's the underline.
But you're working with Pat.
Pat's
Okay.
Or address.
All right. Just a reminder that the police contract is due at the end of the year, and I've suggested that Denise go ahead and call a meeting so that they can start looking at that contract. What I'm going to do is take myself off the committee, and I'm going to place Janice in my place. She feels that there's some issues financially that need to be looked at, and she's better suited to do that than I am. So for the purpose of the contract, she will be sitting in for me during those meetings. Taxes. I said this again, I want to say it again because we're on tape tonight. When the taxes went out, there was an error as the bill had used last year's millage at the top, and it said 4 0.35, which was the same as the last 10 years. It did go up to 4.8. However, when they checked, the calculations were done correctly. So the only thing they did was they forgot to change the top of the bill. Also, they used a different printer, which made it go out a little bit later. This is from Jim Smith, the tax collector. And just a reminder to everybody that not only did the borough taxes go up, but at the same time, the sewer fees went up and the trash fees went up. So when you looked at your bill, you know, it was more than what just the borough did, but it looked pretty hefty, I guess. But there are things that were unavoidable that had to be done. And so that is the explanation. The police chief, the mayor covered that. We probably narrowed it down to about 20 or so, maybe 22 top people. We will start this weekend to interview those people. In the process, and we had a personnel meeting here last week that I announced, but we talked about bringing on at least one police professional. Now, there's two ways you can do it. Some towns just go out and they get 3 chiefs, and that costs you $1,500 a day. But what we did was working through Roseanne, we brought in a guy who is a professional. He's retired. His name is Andrew Block, and he's 32 years, successful executive, supervisory management, and administrative law enforcement experience, coupled with 35 years of expertise in the fire emergency medical service organizations. And so he charges $50 an hour. And what I wanted was somebody on the committee that could ask the questions that the council couldn't ask. So you guys all said after you looked at his resume, but in order to get him paid, so instead of paying out thousands of dollars, we're going to pay out hundreds of dollars, and I'm going to ask for a motion to hire him.
I'll take it.
At $50 an hour. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're doing everything we can here. We started the screening. They're doing the phone screening now. I'm really excited about this because this is a great opportunity for us. I know that there are people that are pushing their favorites from different corners. This council, I hope, allows whoever, if your favorite comes to the top, it's because he's outperformed the other 98 people that are out there. And if the council doesn't, if settles for anything short of that, I think that what we did was that we shortchanged the people we said we were here to represent. So we have to allow this thing to play out and for the right person to come to the top so that we can get the best police chief we can in that job. And so that's our goal. I know this is pretty involved because they're now in the process of sending out self-assessment questionnaires. They're going to ask for writing samples, budget samples. We want as much of a round chief as we can get. So Roseanne is doing a pretty good job of guiding us through that. Let's see. Just a question. Are we making any progress on the solar panels?
None. I've done nothing on it, to be honest. I was busy with other items.
Okay, that's all right.
Jim might be able to help you.
I did talk to Bob Grant. We do have some information that I will pass along to Terry. I'll work with Terry on that, about the cost to us.
Okay.
As I understand they thought it was too high, but I don't want to do anything until we know it's not going to cost us more if we drop it.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
like I said,
I don't want to
we
chase
did it with
money,
zoning.
but I think the object is to be fair.
I mean, we took about a year at zoning to figure out, how much we can, save people, and it worked out. So I know they want an answer, but
I did email and follow up with Mrs. Brooks, but I haven't heard back from her. But it was nothing that would really help us along. But I honestly don't know what we can do. Okay. The best bet would probably be to forfeit a portion of the borough's take and cap it maybe at X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Or
See what
or do a local green energy tax break, something like that.
What the other half does is it covers your administrative costs, like from your secretaries and all that. So, and we can do that. It's just that, I just want everybody to be aware of what they're doing when they do it. That's all. So, okay.
Where are those panels going?
proposed? The solar?
We had a resident from North Clearwater come to one of our meetings and thought that the permit fees were too high. So what we're doing is we're taking a look at that to make sure that we're not overcharging and, but that we're still covering our cost. I just got a brief note here from Harry. You guys had approved the Yamaha Grizzly 600. It really works great. He's out cleaning out the parks and he's cut his snow removal down to about half the time, and it worked out even better than I thought. So
I'm driving now 95 with it.
Oh,
oh geez,
he's all over. And he towed my ATV home the other day when I cross-threaded my oil plug and dumped all my oil onto an unnamed street. So I called him and he did tow me home with the ATV. So guess next time I'll vote yes.
Forever in his debt.
Okay, and the only other thing that I have is I want to thank Matt, and I want to thank Bob Grant and everybody else who had a part in helping us get these codified ordinances straightened out. I was a little bit concerned last summer when it came to my attention that those things had been hanging out there for some time and leaving us legally vulnerable. So it took, you guys brought it all together, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Thanks. With that, we'll go into inspector's report. Mr. Hampton.
Slow month, only 93 calls. Imagine I am with Bob working on a swimming pool already. I need a little more information from the gentleman. He hasn't got here yet for that. Also, did Chick-fil-A, all of their signage. I am waiting to get to Mr. Catania until they give me the proof of them and call the wind load, snow load, and the wind pressure against it. So I have those figures passed on to him. We talked to them a week ago, and like they were in a hurry to have it done overnight. We're still waiting for them to send it in. And I check every day, and it still hasn't come through yet. So as soon as that gets in, I'll give it to Chuck, and he can look at it. Of course, I don't know when they're going to turn the earth yet.
Yeah, because they need those signs in 6-7 months, so hurry up. I got that same phone call.
Another thing, I went up to where Freddy's is being worked on, and I don't know whether any of it's been up there. But I talked to the gentleman that we had the meeting here with a month or so ago, and you'll see the bedrock that they had to go through. It took them 4 days to dig the trench because of all the bedrock that's up there. Where normally things here in Brookhaven, you're going through dirt and clay. You've got a lot of bedrock they were going through. They were getting ready to lay the sanitary line. The meeting that we had here was on the gas line and the electric line, and PECO will not do the gas line until the building is up, is what they were told. So that's really stop on what we had listened to here and what we thought was going to be done. So that. The other thing, I talked to Mr. Patel today from Wawa, and he said he's waiting for NDI to get back to him. He's put in a few phone calls, hasn't heard, and he would like her to get a hold of Mr. Hoopman and get together and see what they have to be done over there at his place over there at the Wawa. He's met with DEP and other people, but said he's really old and hasn't gotten any.
It's the old one.
We're not waiting for anything.
The Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, it got approved.
About 3 o'clock this afternoon. Because I keep getting a lot of questions.
That's what he old one.
Do something over there. I tell him I can't answer them because I don't know. So I talked to him today and he's just telling me what he was told. And he had told me that once before, over a month ago. So that's where we are with that. But,
That's his game. That's
and as Mr. Rivera said, we have nothing for zoning hearing coming up. I have nothing in the works at all. My knowledge, nothing coming up yet.
How about Chili's? Is there any update on that?
I'm sorry?
Chili's. Chili's.
I've already done all their signs, everything's been approved with them, and that's been sent off to Chuck for you know, whatever he has to do, they did give me all the paperwork and things. I'm just waiting for Chick-fil-A now to give me the, like I said, the things that are required. When I sent her the sheet back in July last year, what had to be done, didn't give me everything. We keep getting on the phone, hey, here's your list. You just sent me a copy of what I sent to you and you still haven't complied with it. So we're still waiting for that to get done.
I think Chili's has their permit, it's just on them now. I haven't seen it come out the bid in the services I use, so.
But we're talking
It's
about
on them.
Chili's. The paperwork I got from Chili's, the check was done on the 1st of February. Paperwork I got was the 25th of February. Meantime, Morgan, I had a talk with her on my back, that I'm costing these people hundreds of thousands, and she said hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're lucky, I got to
mean,
talk to
hold
both.
them up. And I said, I don't have the paperwork yet. So what I did, everything that I had on file on them, I faxed 28 pages to her. The only thing I didn't send to her is under our code that I have 30 days once they give me something to act on. I didn't want to rub anything into her. She was upset enough without me doing anything else. I held off on that. But that's what I'm saying. But within 3 days, everything, I finished everything once they gave it to me on the 25th. They got all the permits sent to them. But, you know, this is what I go through all the time with some of them. They just don't give you all the paperwork they're supposed to give to us. And everything is on the paperwork they get to sign permits. Tells them exactly what they have to supply to us. And a lot of them just don't. And you keep going back and forth with them. That's all I have. You know,
Okay.
It's a battle royal sometimes.
Thank you. Fire Marshal.
Just a couple things. We had an emergency water line break up there at Hilltop last week. They were down without water for about 5 hours. They did get it repaired. I just talked to the code enforcement guy sitting next to me. The junkyard at East Brookhaven Road's getting bigger and bigger. You can now see the propane bottles and acetylene from the street. He's going to send a citation over to him and a letter, but we got to get that cleaned up. We already had one incident there. We don't know what we're going into over there. It's really getting out of hand. We have to take action on those people. So. John's going to send them a letter to get it cleaned up. If they don't, then we're going to have to, I guess, get Mr. Stone involved.
Go to court.
Yeah. We had an oil tank issue over there also, and then we had a fire, so just looking out, that's all.
You did start cleaning it up at one point, didn't they?
He did at one point.
When?
That was a while
It
ago.
might have been a year ago. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
Time
while ago.
It's
flies.
getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I know.
Now he's
I know.
storing propane bottles over there, little barbecue ones.
Really?
And you could see it from the street. We got to act on this guy, because if not, he's going to have that whole property just an eyesore on us. God forbid we have another fire there.
Yeah.
So now you interject with that. You're talking about it was getting cleaned up a little, because I was down there. Told him I was going to issue citations to him. He has one of his great big trailers that he was storing things in. I told him to get everything off. I didn't want to see. I have sent him about doing a business at this place. I sent him that paperwork. All of this has been done, and I think, John, I want to see him because I got a nice little file on him that we can go through and you can look at, that he's been sent notices before. We've had him in court before. He's paid the fines. They fined him $600. He had to pay it off in 3 months. So we have done this before. And it's just a royal battle with him. I've talked to him about trespassing on other people's property. He's using what is Harbin's, you know, the R4 section. He's been using that, putting all kinds of equipment on there. Told him he can't do it. And he just keeps expanding.
People across the street aren't happy campers.
I haven't been there because of the weather. I have pictures galore on file. Told you I carry a camera. And I haven't been down there lately because of the weather and this cold things. I've been having my own physical problems right now, so with weather. So, but if John will stop and get a hold of me, I'll let him see the folder that we have, and he can take it from there that he has been notified, he has been cited in the past, and me, I would go after him to high heaven, also his mother, because Miss Martin also owns that property, not just him. It's in both names. And we sent her letters too, and she just ignored us completely.
Mr. Hampton, the next time you go to court, remind the judge of the safety of the firefighters, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everything else, Charles?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything under safety?
Now, I just have one report, though. We did go to Sun Valley basketball team won the championship with Temple University. They asked. They did win?
Yeah, they won.
I knew they were playing that.
Friday now.
That's great. 452 and 322.
Nice.
They had a nice.
Also, one of those gentlemen is now being inducted to the Aston Hall of Fame. D'Angelo is going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. Oh, wow. They're just coming up, it's in today's paper.
John, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Before I go to public discussion, what I would like to see is council about the police chief. I have a couple questions that I need to get nailed down tonight, so I'm going to ask for a personnel meeting right after this, so if you guys can hang in, that would be great. Public discussion.
Detective Vasquez, 4926 Shepherd Street. With the gentleman that keeps on getting fined up at Brookhaven Road, is there any way, like repeat offenders, we can increase the fine at some point?
So usually in our code, we don't have an increase in the fine for second offenses, but each day is often a new violation. And so in theory, you could cite somebody every day for a lot of infractions. So it may be something where we just need to look at citing more often as opposed to increasing the amount, but.
Okay, I just wanted to see if, maybe we can, obviously he's paying it, so if we can look at trying to resolving it.
What if it takes him 3 months to pay it off? If he gets them more often than 3 months, it might motivate him a little more.
Exactly. All right, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Can I address that a second too?
Sure.
We sent the owners of the property that he's putting his stuff on. I sent them a letter and I asked them if they could send us a letter of authorization so we could have everything towed off of their property. And no response from them.
Any other public discussion?
In regards to that fine, I have somebody I put a citation on. The judge actually fined them 425 hours a day. He gave them 6 months to solve their problem, but if it isn't solved at the end of 6 months, they have to pay $425 for every one of those days. Wow. He can, it all depends on what he decides to do. I can explain to him and show him the pictures, and it's up to him what he wants.
Right.
But I'll enforce that.
Is there any other public discussion? Does anybody have anything for council? From council, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll take it.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We're meeting in here in the break room.
We can go in the break room.
Painless.